Hey everybody, I'm going to summarize this article for you to help you out. You might notice that I am in street clothes just because this is one of the perks of being at home, doing at-home learning. So I get to wear what you guys get to wear, which is pretty fun. So, this is an article about someone who got hacked, and it was a pretty crappy experience, and they shared their insights, what they learned from it, and how they could have prevented it. So I'm going to read through this for you, and then I'm going to insert my advice here and there. So it says, last Wednesday I woke up to 2 emails from Facebook. One let me know that the primary email address on my account had been switched to a Hotmail account I haven't used since 2009. By the way, this was written in 2015, I think. So that was 6 years old, which is pretty old. The other email let me know the password had been changed on my Facebook account. I had been hacked. So I got 2 emails. One telling him his email on his account had been switched, and the other email said that his password had been changed. So change the email and change the password, so that way if he were to go in and try and change his password back, it wouldn't let him, because it would send that verification email to his old email that was now taken. So he says, this was bad. I'm a fairly heavy Facebook user, partly because a big social following is a useful thing for a journalist. This guy writing the story is a journalist. And partly because I'm a person who likes the attention I get from posting funny things. Also, since organizing stuff, whoops, I lost my place. Okay. Also, since organizing stuff is not a strength of mine, I have had a bad habit of treating Facebook as a storage place for photos, email addresses, all sorts of things I want to hang on to. So that guy had been doing something that I think was pretty stupid, and he knows it now. He was storing his photos, email addresses, all kinds of things, all kinds of personal information on his Facebook, which Facebook is pretty much public to anybody unless you set it to private. But obviously he wouldn't do that because he's a journalist and he wants to connect with people. So storing all of your stuff on your social media, not smart. Now all of this was in someone else's hands. Panicking a little, I emailed half a dozen people I know who work at Facebook, but it was before 7 a.m. in California, so I didn't expect an immediate response. In the meantime, I knew one thing for sure. This was my fault. Since 2011, Facebook has offered what's called two-factor authentication, a security measure that makes it impossible to log into an account without a one-time PIN you can only receive by text message. Two-factor authentication is extremely secure, but I'd never enabled it. It was also, I realized immediately, really dumb to have an old email address associated with my account. I kept it on there in case I ever got locked out of Facebook, but the password on my Hotmail account was weak by 2015 standards. If you guys don't know what two-factor authentication is, you should check it out. Maybe you've seen it, but if you haven't seen it, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram. I think even your email, you can have it set up. And what it does is it makes it so that if you go to like sign in from a new computer, it'll say, hey, what's the PIN? And they'll text a PIN to your phone. Now, if some hacker tries to log in to your account from a computer that's not recognized, it'll say, hey, what's the PIN? And they can't get the PIN unless they have your phone. So the likelihood of someone having your phone and your PIN, having your phone and your information to your account, like your password and stuff, is extremely unlikely. I mean, if that's going to happen, it's probably going to be someone that you know, right? So it's an awesome defense. Super, super secure. Okay, continuing, he says, so yes, I was guilty. In my defense, however, I'd had reason to think Facebook was watching out for me. Like many journalists, I'm a verified user with a little blue check mark to show that Facebook has confirmed my identity. It wasn't an easy status to get. I had to upload my driver's license to get it. You've probably seen it if you've been on Facebook or Instagram. I think even Twitter has it, and probably Snapchat too, to show that whoever's account it is really does belong to them. So if you went on to, say, Instagram and looked up LeBron James, when you see one that says LeBron James with a blue check mark, that means it actually is his account. And like it says, probably seen his driver's license and confirmed that he's the owner of that account, because obviously famous people are going to try to be duplicated. And so some random person is going to try to make a fake account and pretend like they're LeBron James to get people to follow him, and then they can maybe scam people or whatever. So he had that little mark. He'd been verified. He says, as far as Facebook was concerned, I no longer had an account to secure. The hacker had changed the name, email address, and even profile photo to his own. As far as Facebook was concerned, I didn't exist. After some trial and error, however, I was able to locate the account formerly known as Jeff Berkovici. That's the guy's name who's writing the story. And the account now belonged to a man in Turkey named Hamza or Humza. I don't know how to pronounce it. I finally heard back from one of my Facebook contacts who told me to sit tight while she tried to get my case in front of someone who could do something about it. Later, she told me a hold had been placed on the account, and a guy from Facebook's community operations team emailed me to ask me some personal questions. I answered them and went to bed. So something you can learn from the story right here is he reached out directly to Facebook in order for them to help him get his account back. That's a smart thing. If your account, whatever it is, ever gets hacked, probably a good thing to do is to reach out to the owner of the site, whether that's your bank account, social media, whatever. Reach out to them, and chances are they can ask you some personal questions to verify that you are the actual owner of that account. So something to keep in mind. So he says, I woke up Thursday morning to an email letting me know I could log back into my account. So that's 24 hours later. That's a long time to wait. Relieved, I logged in, or I did so. Only it was no longer my account. Everything had been deleted. My friends, my photos, my posts. Aside from a few page likes, all evidence of my 9 years as an active Facebook user had been erased. Wedding photos, birthday greetings, random exchanges with childhood friends I hadn't seen in 20 years. All the stuff that Facebook mechanically orders you to reminisce about was gone. How could I have avoided all of this in the first place? An expert told me what I pretty much already knew. Always enable two-factor authentication, because using it is a much smaller pain in the butt than trying to repair the damage from a hack. In addition, conduct periodic reviews of the personal info on all of your accounts to make sure the information is up to date. Outdated, unsecure accounts can and will be used against you. Now, my advice to you here, and I've already kind of mentioned it, is use two-factor authentication. I mean, honestly, if you have it, you really don't need to worry about your account getting hacked because it's going to be super, super safe, super secure. He also mentions to have your information updated. And he doesn't specifically say what, but have your emails updated, have your, especially your passwords updated. Having an secured password is one of the best things you could possibly do. Now, I mentioned it in here, but I'll tell you this here too. The very last slide in the day 26 slides has some links to where you can check to see if your passwords are strong or not. I challenge you to go check it out. You'd probably be surprised. And honestly, if you make them really intense and really secure, it'll tell you that it takes like 1,000,000,000 years for someone to hack it. So it's kind of fun. You can play with it. Oh, and the other thing I was going to mention, this is just kind of a side note. You don't need to know this, but in case you're curious, that author did get in touch with that guy in Turkey, Hamza. And he was he got in touch with him on Twitter. And he asked him, he's like, dude, why did you hack my account? Why me? And he responded, this Turkish guy, and said, look, I only tried to steal your stuff because you had that little check mark. And he said, I want it because then I can, well, he didn't, I don't know if he said this, but he basically wanted it because he could use it and look trustworthy and scam people with it. So that Turkish guy told him, hey, guess what? I'll give you back all of the stuff I deleted from your Facebook account. Just give me your Facebook account, right? And so he'd give him back all the photos and everything. And he said, just give me the Facebook account and I'll give you back your stuff. And the Jeff guy was torn. He's like, well, obviously I want my stuff back, but I can't give him my account. Facebook would never trust him again. And then he would know that he was kind of an accomplice in helping some jerk scam people and steal from people. So he had to just let it go. So super frustrating, super annoying. I mean, hackers, they're just beyond frustrating. So hopefully this can be a learning lesson for you to know what you can do to defend yourself against hackers so you don't get put in a situation like this. So I hope that helps. Feel free to rewind this video if you need to help you answer the questions on the worksheet, and then make sure to submit the worksheet on Canvas when you're finished. And have an awesome Tuesday. Go outside and have some fun.